Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the ADHD Reframed Project podcast with me, host Emma Craven. And today, the guest is called Scott. So, Scott, would you like to do a little introduction to yourself, please?
Hi, I am Scott Harrison. I'm 52 years old, 53 in a couple of months. I run an online fitness, nutrition and personal development program called the Six Pack Revolution. It's got participants in 92 countries.
Wow.
So you can imagine how that does for my head. And but I love it. I live it. And it's been going for 10 years now. And I was diagnosed with ADHD only about a year ago.
Okay, interesting. Did you know that you had ADHD before you were diagnosed, or did you realise, did you feel different when you were younger, when you were growing up?
I didn't know. My wife kind of pushed me into getting a diagnosis, and it was a proper one. And my mum got interviewed, my wife got interviewed, etc. And what was quite shocking was there's sort of like 9 sections, and there's 9 questions in each section. And I think you had to score over 3 in each section to be qualified for medication. And I was 9 in all of them, except for one. I was an 8, and I was like, "What?" Thinking to myself, that doesn't make sense. I thought I was just driven. And then I went on medication, and it absolutely killed me. I was on the brink of I'd had enough. So one day we was at Halloween. We was at a Halloween party, and I came out into the car park, and I got down on my knees and just burst into tears. So I stopped the medication then. And funny enough, I had like a reverse win out of that, because it was like I'd taken medication when I come off it, because I lifted up so well from it, which I don't know why. But I think maybe I hit the bottom so hard I bounced.
Wow. Yeah, I've not interviewed anyone else that's had that experience with medication. But
it was horrific.
I'm really sorry
and
to
I
hear that.
I didn't feel any. Sorry, I didn't feel anything, and then they kept increasing my doses, and then they put me onto a different one, and then the second one was the one that sort of like ruined me. I couldn't even function.
Interesting, very very interesting for me. Very different angle to kind of talk about as well, because it's I've not heard anyone's experience. I've heard of younger people that are kind of late teens, early 20s that get diagnosed and then try medication and don't like it because they feel like it takes away the kind of personality, the ADHD personality that they have. And they don't necessarily like that. I am medicated, and I've been medicated since I was diagnosed in 2019. Similar to you, my daughter and my mum was also interviewed, and I scored extremely high on all of the questions that they asked me as well. And it was a shock to me. I didn't know when I was growing up. I always knew I was all right. I always felt that I was extremely oversensitive, or I was extremely kind of just sensitive with everything. And then obviously the diagnosis came, and I was 23 when I was diagnosed, and it's just it's so. So as a man, could you? I'm just going to go off on a little tangent now, because I really like interviewing male guests for the podcast. So we'll come back to the work you do in a minute, but I just wanted to talk to you maybe about, not just about your experience with the ADHD medication, but have you had any difficult situations with your mental health? And primarily because you're male, that you didn't feel like you could talk about your mental health?
No, I'm lucky. I'm quite open, and wear my heart on my sleeve, so I don't hide away from anything. So I'm lucky on that side of things. I just have severe anxiety, is a symptom that I tend to have, and I feel like sometimes I'm constantly anxious. So I've sort of like in this loop where I constantly feel like I'm in fight or flight mode. Sometimes I don't even know why. And that's apparently a well-known symptom, but it's also my superpower. I mean, as you know, if it's something I'm interested in, I'm winning. No one's stopping me from winning that whatever it is I'm doing. However, obviously, if I'm not interested in something, I literally glaze over and I'm somewhere else. I mean, I'm not a big fan of paperwork, which if you'd realize I'm an entrepreneur who's been in business since, crikey, goodness knows when. I've done so many businesses and many successes, many failures. But I really don't like paperwork. So if my accountant comes round or my bookkeeper comes round, there's no point in me even being here because I'm not even in the room. They start talking, I'm just like I've no interest. But obviously gives me something I'm interested in, and I'm like a superhero, you know. So, and also I think it gives me confidence. Believe it or not, some people go the other way, but I feel like it's been in a lot of ways, a real positive for me. But obviously there are negatives. The reason my wife told me, and the reason I realized looking back now that I've had this trait, is because, like, so for example, I'd get off of an aeroplane on holiday and I would be at passport control and the family is still on the steps. and I would look behind and realize that they're not even with me. I'm gone. And another strange thing that I used to do, so if I went to a restaurant and I couldn't decide out of all the starters, I'd order all of them.
Okay.
And then sometimes, because we wouldn't have dessert, I'd go and have another starter at the end. And it's just that overwhelm all the time, that constant like dopamine searching crazy person that I became in certain situations. The other negative I'd probably say is like that I've noticed even more so now is that I've got a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and playing with my 5-year-old I find really boring. I'm just being honest. So, and I don't like myself for that, but you can't help how you're feeling or brain. So I really have to try and work on being more interested. And I do work on it. I'm just saying, like, you know, I've noticed that. I don't know if anyone else suffers with that, but it's it puts a little bit of guilt on me, to be honest. But I can't help the fact that I'm not thinking, oh, when's this going to end? You know, there's only so many times I can pretend I'm shooting in the garden or whatever game he wants to play. Bless him. But so yeah, you've got many, you know, there's many ups and downs, pros and cons, as you know, you've been in this for a long time. So
I mean, I don't like paperwork. I don't like admin. I don't like anything. I don't even like writing, which obviously is the problem if you're studying a degree online. But obviously, I get it done. But it's such hard work. It literally kind of just strips everything out of me that I've got. And yeah, it's exhausting, but it's also really rewarding. And although I have to put a lot more time and effort into like the academic writing, it doesn't mean to say that I can't achieve. So I see it as a challenge, but I also kind of see it as an achievement once it's finished. And I haven't cried because there have been times in the past where I just sat there thinking, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And particularly around research methods, when it comes to numbers, like quantitative research methods, my brain switches off. And I can't. And like you said, you know, with kind of admin or your accountants or whatever it is, it's like we need that kind of dopamine interest in something that we do. I like talking. Talking is the thing. You know, that's what gets the dopamine going in my brain.
me too.
Yeah, and I think my she's 27 now, and it's only been in like the last 3 or 4 years that I've started talking to her, although she came with me when I was diagnosed, but I've started talking to her a lot more about what my symptoms are and how they kind of manifest and what they look like. And, you know, there's things like she used to get a little bit frustrated when I could not give her a yes or no answer, because it's almost physically impossible for me to do that. But since I've had that conversation with her and I've explained to her why, she's like, oh. And then that obviously has helped, you know, with my friends. Some of my friends don't have ADHD or are not neurodivergent. And then within my studies, it's just enabled me to be able to kind of advocate for my needs and myself, but also kind of educate, if you want to call it that, educate
How,
people about what
how did you
ADHD
feel?
really is.
How did you feel when you got your diagnosis?
Um, it was a bit of grief that it hadn't been spotted sooner. Um, but also there was much, much more, like the bigger percentage of just relief, because I started to really understand myself, and there was
Yeah,
reasons
I
why.
agree with that.
There was
Yeah,
reasons why
getting
I was like,
diagnosed. Yeah, I don't know if you felt the same. Getting diagnosed didn't like change me; it kind of explained me,
yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah,
And I was quite emotional actually when I was first told. I don't know where it came from. This sort of came up inside me, and tears ran down my face. And I still can't tell you why. I wasn't sad. It was like a weird emotion that came over me. But I just, started to look back on my life and go, yeah, okay, I now know what that was all about. But then there's another part of me that also says, well, every time I speak to anyone, they've got ADHD at the moment, like the whole world's been diagnosed, and I sit and think, well, maybe actually we're the normal ones. and the people that can't be bothered like with anything, and they don't focus on anything, and they're just sort of like, got no drive, and maybe they're the ones that should have the label, not us.
yeah. I think as well, one of the things that I've started doing in the last year, maybe 18 months, is just focusing on my strengths. So not just focusing on the things that I find challenging, also kind of implementing coping strategies, but also like nurturing my natural strengths, the things I naturally do really well. And for me personally, that's just, it kind of took away all of the kind of sadness from my past, when I'd sit and think, well, this happened and this happened because I had undiagnosed ADHD, but just focusing kind of on the things that I naturally do really well has really kind of helped my well-being. It gave me the confidence to start this podcast, because I wanted to do a podcast because I love talking. But I think like a strength-based approach for me, and the reason why the podcast is called the project that I've set up, which is not a business yet, so I've no clue about setting up businesses, is just like around reframing ADHD, and not just for people that are diagnosed, but for people that support people with ADHD or whatever. It's just, I wanted to spread that positive. It's not even awareness. It's that positive narrative around. Do you know what? You've been diagnosed. You were diagnosed when you were an adult, but let's kind of not just focus on the past. Let's see what we can do to thrive in the future. So have you found that you've naturally done that or not?
Yeah, I'm a God, that's a lot of answers to that question.
Oh, sorry.
So being a serial entrepreneur for most of my life,
Yeah.
obviously it's a most entrepreneurs that are successful are on the spectrum in some way, shape, or form. So as I say, it's a bit like a superpower. Talking about things that help me cope and stuff. A couple of things. One, if I'm doing my program, which is online fitness, nutrition, and personal development program, the anxiety disappears within a week.
Okay.
Zero. Amazing. Like, so then you could say to yourself, well, why don't you always do that? But obviously I'm human like everyone else. Like sun comes out like a pint and whatever else. But one thing that's really helped me, I don't know if have you ever done an ice bath?
No. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's changed my life.
Okay.
So, it's hard work at first, but then you learn to switch your brain off, which is why it works so well for ADHD. So you like, for example, today I was in there only for about 7 minutes, but it was 5 degrees, which is, most people wouldn't be able to step in for 10 seconds. You build up to that. You might start at 15 degrees and I do 15 minutes. But what it would do was, because I'm coping with the cold, and it's also doing lots of my inflammation and brain and all sorts of stuff. You've got really nowhere to think about anything else. So you get this nice dopamine hit from the cold water, but also the calm.
Okay.
Because you've got no choice. You've just got to focus and get your head around it. After about a minute and a half, it is much easier. It's that first, like when you go into a swimming pool. First off, it's like
Yeah.
cold, and then you warm up after a bit, right? But I've got it now down to a level where it never warms up. but that's good, because then I'm constantly focused on just that, and that takes the noise away. So I found that really, really like uber successful, and not expensive either. Good nutrition.
So yeah, sorry, nutrition. Yes, I went into that.
Nutrition. Well, in the human body needs a certain amount of protein, carbs, fats, vitamins, minerals, botanicals, fibers every single day to thrive. When you feed the body how it should be fed, which is like that, then you'll find that your body can regulate itself. It's built to do so. The reason most of the world is riddled with anxiety and inflammation and illness and mental illness and all that stuff is because they don't eat or drink properly.
Okay.
So you'd see, I think if everyone, which would be an amazing thing, but if everyone ate the way the human body should be fed, you would see a much more controlled ADHD symptoms as well, I believe.
Okay. Interesting. Clearly, if anyone's watching, it's not hard to see that I am overweight and I do need to lose weight. But I don't just have ADHD, I have fibrosis, I live with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, which are not excuses. And the ADHD is not an excuse, but I immensely dislike exercise. I don't know why, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
That's why it's fascinating for me to interview people like you, because you give me a completely different perspective to, I don't like
Well,
it.
Emma, this can all change for you regardless of exercise.
Okay.
It's what you eat. Yeah. So we have 100% success rate in all chronic illnesses: ME, MS, fibromyalgia, eczema, psoriasis, Crohn's, IBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome, lymphedema, scoliosis, sleep apnea, menopause. I could go on for ages. Either being brought to a much more manageable level or into complete remission. And not last July, the one before, we had one lady, she had ME and fibromyalgia, and the doctor undiagnosed it at the end of our program because she didn't have the symptoms anymore. My head coach suffered with chronic fatigue. She's my head coach. I've got tens of thousands of participants in 92 countries. Lots of celebrities do my program: Ryland, Sarah Cox, Peter Andre, Carol Vorderman, half the cast of In the Line of Duty, half the cast of Coronation Street, most of Towie. And yeah, it's life changing, really. So, I'll talk to you after the podcast.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'm always fascinated in kind of, getting a healthier diet or, exercising a little bit and stuff. But yeah, I think for me personally, and I regularly will say this to my friends and my family, it's every time I get up and move around, if I stay kind of active for a short amount of time, the pain increases. And unfortunately for me, I have the mental blockage of, I don't want to do something because it's going to hurt, but I need to exercise because I'm overweight. So it's that
the exercise is really important, right? It should be non-negotiable.
Yeah.
If you don't want to frame around your toilet when you're older, a seat in your bath, you want to be able to walk up and down the stairs without feeling like you've done a marathon, you still want to play with the kids, dance on the beach in your 80s, cycle in your 90s, you have to exercise every week till the day you die.
Okay.
Right? It shouldn't be something that you negotiate with yourself. It's so important. Okay. Otherwise, unfortunately, you will be one of those people that will need help to do anything. Right? And but that exercise isn't really weight loss. Exercise is good posture, muscle tone, bone density, joints, anxiety, cardiovascular system, fights off all chronic illnesses, exercise, including cancers, and so on. But your fat loss is coming from the nutrition, 90% of it. Yeah. So what you might want to do is sort out your nutrition, which will then put you in a better position, reduce all the inflammation, stop the fibromyalgia symptoms, excuse me, stop the fatigue, bring your energy back, bring your life and vitality back, hopefully then more longevity, and then we bring exercise in.
Okay.
But exercise can start off as going for a walk. Doesn't have to be,
Started
it
doing
doesn't have
that.
to be like CrossFit.
We've got quite a nice field at the end of our road where we live, and we've started, and I can only go around once, so it's only 10 minutes at the moment, but we've started doing that. I can't go out when it's this hot because I just would faint, I think. But yeah, I've started implementing just small changes into kind of my physical activities. And yeah, so we go out and we walk. Well, we started, and I could only do. I just told a big fat lie. When we started a few weeks ago, I could only walk around the field once, but now we do like an 8. So we go and we go round the
Yeah.
edge of the field, and then we go round and then back on ourselves. So slowly, kind of over the days, I'm increasing it a little bit more. So then I'm moving around a bit more, and there is a bench, and I do have to sit down and wait for the pain to subside before I get going again. But it's just that physical act of me. And I'm accountable to my partner as well, because he knows that I'll just not do it if I'm not accountable to anyone.
Good lad. Take a fist pump from me.
Yeah, so he is very good.
This is all about what you eat. Your fibro, everything is all about what you eat.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can change that, and also probably eat more than you do now.
Yeah, I try to eat as late.
Just eating the right. It's just eating the right things.
Is there a specific food that's good for people with ADHD then, or is it just generally a
one
diet?
No, it's not one food. It's about eating in balance. So a lot of people, even nutritionists, don't understand that what you have on the plate at the same time is important.
Right.
So it's about eating balanced plate of food, balanced throughout the day with plenty of hydration. How much water do you drink a day, honestly?
Honestly, I drink squash. I don't just drink water. I drink squash.
Right, so you don't drink water.
Sugar-free. No, I don't. And I have maybe 6 of these. I've got 3 of these a day, and they're 2 litres. No, hold on, I'm not lying. 1,000 millilitres. I don't even know. I'll tell you numbers in my calendar.
It's a litre. Yeah. So you're doing 3 litres of squash a day.
Yeah.
That's a major problem.
Okay.
Even just because it's sugar-free, it's not good for you.
Okay.
You should be drinking a minimum of 2.5, 3 litres of water per day with nothing in it. Yeah. Unless you want to put like some mint leaves in it, or a slice of lemon, or a slice of orange or something, that's fine.
Oh, I quite like lemon and orange.
No cordial.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though it's sugar-free, it's full of rubbish. Probably worse than the sugary one.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That's the first step in the right direction.
That's your first thing, is to start drinking water.
Yeah. I'm going to write this down because I've got a brain like a sieve. Menopause. It's really menopause brain. It's not pleasant for me. Like, drink more water.
Yeah, I have a menopause program as well. So yeah, no, I'm actually an accredited menopause wellness practitioner myself.
Oh wow!
Believe it or not. But yeah, we've got a few strings to the bow. But
that's incredible.
Yeah, as you know, my program is something I live and I love. So therefore, I'll go and do it properly.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, because there's still a lot of taboo around even discussing menopause for women, and obviously, if you've got ADHD and neurodivergent autism, then it's like the estrogen is directly responsible for the dopamine in the brain. So every time your hormone levels drop, it's like the brain fog for me is the hardest thing. I just can't.
Again, that's all about the food. If you look at countries like Japan, they have about 10% menopause symptoms, whereas in the West we have about 90%. And it's all about how they eat, drink, exercise, and think.
Okay.
And it's exactly the same as what we do on my program. So it's no surprise that I was getting phone calls from people all over the country, professionals, saying, Scott, what is it you're doing? My client's been with you 2 weeks. She's got no symptoms anymore. And I held my hands up and went, I'm a bit of an imposter. I didn't actually create the program for the menopause. It just so happens my program's amazing for menopause, better than any other program. And then after those conversations, I created a menopause version of the program,
Yeah.
which has been hugely successful because it's been like, it's give ladies their lives back,
Of course.
So,
Yeah,
I'd
that's amazing.
probably say that all of this sort of explains what I would call the biggest gift of ADHD is that if you find something that you're passionate about and believe in, you're like, and you can inspire people. You work relentlessly like a hamster on a wheel, and you never lose that the love for it or that passion for it. And I believe that's also why a superpower of the ADHD. It's allowed me to. I've had over 100,000 people do my program, and it's and all over the world. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. 92 countries. I've had some. It's crazy for me because like someone from Zambia, I'm going, wow, how did we end up out there? But that organic reach when you're doing something really good that's helping people is like coronavirus. You just go everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think having that purpose helps me as well.
Yeah, and that purpose is you're helping other people, and that's kind of what I love to do. That's where my purpose comes, is being able to help people, and even if that's just by giving them the space to talk about what they're going through, or maybe just educate them on something. I don't mean like a teacher type thing. I just mean by talking about my experiences and the experiences that I've had in the past, even before I was diagnosed. It just really kind of helps people to understand themselves better. So yeah, I love that.
Do you think the medications helped you?
Yes.
Yeah. And are there any other things that are not medication that you do?
No. Well, I tried that lion's mane, that mushroom tea thing. That was good. But yeah, no.
That made a difference.
Yeah, I think possibly more than the medication. Yeah. But
You still take it, like you're still drinking it now?
No, not at the moment, no, because it can be quite expensive, can't it? So, yeah.
Oh no, I don't know. So is that the reason you don't take it, because of the cost, or because if it? Yeah. Okay, cool. Or maybe I'll have a. So lion's mane tea, did you say?
Yes, tea. It's mushroom. It's made from mushrooms.
Yeah, I know a lion's mane is.
Yeah. So that's meant to be the best one for ADHD. And my friend bought me some for my birthday a few years ago, and I tried it, and it was really good.
What does it taste like?
It's not nice. It's not pleasant.
No, I imagine it's not.
You have to drink it in a different drink. So either in your tea or your coffee first thing in the morning.
And is it like just once a day?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you found it was better than the medication?
Well, the problem is I was taking it as well as the medication, so I can't give you a definitive answer as to whether it was the medication or both of them that helped. But I just felt with the lion's mane, it just felt like my brain wasn't as kind of constant. It wasn't kind of, whereas I struggle with that. My brain, my memory, just things like that I struggle with, and I just found that the lion's mane just kind of settled the mental cognitive load in the brain. But I didn't take it without the meds, so I can't tell you without the meds whether it was whether it worked or not. But my friend who bought me some, her daughter takes it, and she's waiting to be diagnosed still. She's definitely ADHD. And she takes it and it helps her. So she's not medicated for ADHD. And she said that the lion's mane it's been a life changer for her. But personally, unfortunately for me, it's quite expensive. So, I'm not working at the moment. I'm just studying. And then once I graduate next year, then I'm going to be looking for a job. So, yeah, it's just the cost of things that seems to always put me up. But, I'm willing to kind of try lots of different things. Someone else suggested the CBD as well for not just the ADHD, but the fibro as well. But I just don't know how I feel about that, to be honest. I just think it's...
Well, you can't buy anything that's too heavy CBD in this country anyway, unless you're going to get it off of some geezer down the road. I've tried a bit of like the gummies and the drops under the tongue, but I didn't really notice much of a difference. But then when I did the meds, they had to really ramp up the dosage for me to get any feeling.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was a negative one, so I couldn't take it anymore. But I'll give that lion's mane a go. I'll let you know if it's
Yeah, so
if it done.
no, yeah. But yeah. So
Not that I'm sure. I'm sure about what I'm supposed to feel though. So I don't know really what I was. I don't want to lose my
anxiety. It
personality.
might help with your anxiety. You know, you get really bad anxiety when you're not doing your program and stuff. So it might help with that. I don't know.
Anxiety. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
terrible
no, for me,
anxiety.
the medication I take Concerta XL, which was a slow release. I tried the fast release; it made me
Yeah,
really anxious. I didn't like it. But for me, the Concerta XL, because it's a slow release, it just works so much better. I don't get anxious. I'm not. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it takes all the symptoms away because it doesn't. But it enables me to be able to concentrate, to be able to kind of, just manage myself a lot better than before I was medicated. So
yeah, it
yeah,
was a Concerta that messed me up.
yeah.
It was the one that
Concerta XL, yeah. Did you try
I
that?
don't know if it was. Not, I don't know which one it was, but whatever one I had was the Concerta. The first one was Elvance, which did nothing, and then the second one was the Concerta, which is basically Ritalin, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it just it ruined me. Gives me anxiety just thinking about how I felt.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you went through that. I know medication is not right for everyone. There's lots of people that decide not to take or they try medication and it doesn't help. I think in my experience, just doing this podcast and from some of the women I've met through social media, through my university, for whatever strange reason, the Concerta XL seems to work better for women. Although I do know men that take it, but it seems to work better for women, which is, I don't know why that is, but it does. It just, it's just a thing. And a lot of people, if they've been diagnosed with ADHD and autism, when they take the ADHD medication, they find that their autism is more pronounced, or it's kind of, they notice it a lot more. So some people that choose not to take the ADHD med because they don't like that kind of side of them, which is sad, really. But it's just, I think each individual person, we like biology and inside us is going to be different, isn't it? So it's just trying to find something that kind of works for each other, and that might be medication, that might not be medication. So
I also
anyway,
find it really hard to hide my emotions as well. So if you're pissing me off, you're gonna know.
Okay.
I'm not like it's like this energy will come off me as if to say, "Mate, you're annoying me now." So I think that's also one of the things. I just I don't suffer falls gladly, as my mum would put it, and my mouth will open, but brutally honest. So, which is great in many ways, but sometimes people don't like to hear the truth, obviously, and that can get me, what's the word I'm looking for? In trouble is the wrong word, but I can annoy people sometimes because I'll tell them the truth.
Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I'm exactly the same. And I get told regularly, maybe you need to work on your deliverance. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, even after I was diagnosed, I masked my natural kind of ADHD, like traits or whatever you want to call it. And now I just decided 3 or 4 years ago I was going to stop masking because it's exhausting. And if someone says, oh, maybe you need to try and, say that in a bit of a softer way. And I'm like, no, I can't. Like, that would just be exhausting if I had to think before I said anything. I just, I'm I'm very honest, very blunt, very honest.
Softer than I was. I'm definitely softer than I was, but I can still be brutal in honesty sometimes. But I think it's funny when I got the diagnosis and I told my friends and family, they basically went, "Yeah, you don't think we didn't know?" Like, it was a bit like No Shit, Sherlock. It was one of those. And I went, really? They go, yeah. Do you know what you're like? I went, oh, I think I'm normal, no?
Yeah.
And they go, no.
People, we're normal. I don't know the word normal. What is normal?
No.
You can't even, there's no kind of, there's no explanation for what normal is.
And as
But
I said
I always,
earlier, maybe we're the ones.
yeah, we are the normal ones. Yeah, to us, we are. It's just the society and, whatever doesn't think that we're normal. But I always like to think that once we find our place in whatever that we do, with whatever we're passionate about, once we find our place to do something, it just makes everything like you've already
Yeah,
said.
surely that is normal. Because if we were all the same, then it'd be kind of pretty rubbish, wouldn't it? And I think maybe, the way our brains work, like even though both got ADHD, I might be really passionate about something that you don't like and vice versa. And
Yeah.
if you find your passion, you're very good at it and you push yourself, then you're bringing something to the world. If you're sitting at home doing nothing, lazy, can't be bothered, and I'm not, trying not to generalize and stuff, but I'm just saying those people probably wouldn't have the label of ADHD and they would be considered normal. Whereas, as I said earlier, maybe that's the other way around. Maybe we're all supposed to be a bit different so that we can create different things and have all these wonderful things in the world. Otherwise, everything would be the same, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I couldn't sit and do nothing. I would be bored within 5 minutes. Like, I
Oh
just
my
need
God.
it. I love learning. I just like, the busy mind needs busy kind of life. A lot of the stuff I do is online, but yeah, I'm now, I can't. I'll be bored within about 5 minutes. Like,
Well,
I need something to focus on.
I used to be a trader in the city, so everything was 1,000 miles an hour, not 100, 1,000. Like, it was bah, 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 bah. I used to love it. I was like in my element, just constant pressure. Just give it to me, right? Like that, because I loved doing it. So yeah, I think we should all look at it as a positive. Whoever's listening, keep your ADHD. It's good for you.
Exactly. And find what you're interested in and nurture that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about what you can or can't do. So what about your entrepreneur experience then? Obviously you just said you used to work in the city, used to work in quite high levels. So what is kind of what's been your fascination in setting up multiple businesses over your life?
Well, I think that, if I come up with a great idea that I think's a great idea, then one of the pluses of ADHD is that I'm looking for the win, the dopamine hit. I'm not worried about what's going to go wrong because that's not in my brain. I'm looking at the win. So I just go for it and I deal with everything else as it comes, type of thing. So I've done lots of businesses. I had a chain of sunbed and beauty salons, jewelry shops. I double glazing company, quite a big one. And then I was just blogging my own journey to get a six pack back in 2015, 2016, January. And the results that I got, everyone was going, oh, do another one, and all this sort of thing. And then it kind of grew. And before I know it, I've got this unbelievable, massive, great big thing that turned into a business, doing something I love. So, and also having the blessing of changing lives, considerably, not just, I lost a few pounds. I mean, absolute change of your relationship with food, with drink, relationship with yourself, and so on. And I feel like I'd found my calling. But then I've just thought of another business idea now. And like within a day, I've already booked appointments with people to talk about the branding, because I'm now excited again, like for something, and if I get like that, then kind of there's no stopping me, really.
Yeah. I love that because it's like that drive within us that no one else can see, but it's just we get like totally focused on what we want to do and we just get it done. I have no experience setting up businesses. I've always been employed, but I definitely would like to do something once I graduate. So yeah, it's great to hear that you've kind of gone through that process several times and you've been successful.
Yeah,
I think I would
and
prefer that. Oh, I'm sorry.
I've not always won. I've lost many as well, but I think when you find something that does win and you're this type of person, then you take it really high.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sure you'll do great when you decide whatever business you want to pull together.
Yeah. I don't
And
know.
feel free to ever ask me any advice if you want to.
That would
I've,
be
I've
really
done everything.
helpful. Yeah,
I've
I
pretty
think
much done everything there is to do.
I just want to get taught. I want to get paid to talk about ADHD. That's all I want to do. I love it so much. Like that's what I want to do. I want to get paid to talk about it. I'm studying psychology, so I have like a psychological kind of research
Yeah.
background now. Although I'm just about to start the third year. But yeah,
What psychology qualification is it?
it's just an undergrad. It's a BSc psychology. But it's honoured by the BPS, so it's I don't know. I don't even understand. It's basically accredited, sorry, by the BPS, so it's not just a simple, psychology degree, and it is quite science based as well, which has been a little bit of a problem for me because I don't like numbers or quantitative research methods. I've just
It's
had to
very
get on with it.
though because I've got a psychology diploma, level 3. So it's like just slightly higher than an A level. But also I'm constantly on in a lesson every day because I speak to tens of thousands of people and they suffer mentally. So I speak to them and I help them. I'm a motivational speaker. I've spoken at the NHS several times. I've done lots of these great things, been on in every newspaper, magazine, done TV, radio. So this strange job I fell into has put me on all these platforms, which is great. And it's all psychology. You'll be surprised what you learn when you talk to people. And so I'm a massive fan of psychology. And, I know it's paperwork because it's a degree or an undergraduate. And it's, but the great thing about it at the moment is you can do it at home online, most of it. So you can stop. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, just stop. They probably give you a time limit, haven't they, on what you've got to finish it in.
Yep.
If you find that you're too far behind, you can ask for an extension. Just so you know, I had to. It took me a year longer than most people, only because of work. I was just so busy doing other things. I was writing another book at the time. I've written two kids' books. I've got a Sunday Times bestseller, Eat Your Way to a Six Pack, and high protein meals in minutes. So it's strange, yeah. When I'm interested, I can write as well. It's just not any other. I'm writing a motivational book at the moment. That's taken me longer than it should, to be fair, but I'm not putting pressure on myself. I just bite off little pieces. I might say, right, I'm going to do 10 minutes. When I do the 10 minutes, it turns into 40 minutes. And then I might go, right, that's enough. I'll do another 10 minutes tomorrow. Yeah. That's how I'd recommend if you're struggling with it to just bite off little chunks.
Yeah, I do that. I'm actually quite lucky because I have a lot of support from the university, but also from Disabled Students Allowance. So I get study skills appointments every week. I get mentor appointments as well. So I'm actually quite lucky. I feel it's weird because I've never been very academic, and I didn't even think that they would accept me when I put my application in. In 2023, I think I did it. I started in September 2023 because it's distance learning. I've done it part time, so I take my time with each module, and I make sure that I get kind of like a full understanding of what they're teaching me, and then obviously writing the assignments is the most exhausting part for me. But that doesn't mean to say that I don't get good grades because I always go really cringy because I get very good grades higher than I ever believed that I would be able to get them. And it's like, so I wanted to, funnily enough, I want to break out into some motivational speaking and some more public speaking, which seems to be a bit painful for me at the moment because I just can't seem to find the right places. But it'll come when it's ready. But I like to talk about higher education. I like to talk about ADHD. Like I've done so much advocacy work within my university, and it's like I think education. I understand now the importance of actually getting a good, decent education. Whereas when I was at school, after I left school, I just didn't like school. I didn't really like college. I've done a few level 3 courses similar to you, but nothing really kind of higher education. And then I just decided I was going to do this degree. And actually, the degree's given me a lot more than just an education. It's given me the confidence, to start this podcast,
Yeah.
gives me the confidence to talk about specific topics. Because
Also, be invited into a business to talk to their staff, for example. Let's say you're called in to talk about ADHD, or whether it's just a motivational thing. If you've got like a psychology degree on your CV, for example, or your resume, that's going to hold a lot of weight rather than not having anything. So even if you didn't need the degree to talk and get up on the stage and say exactly the same thing,
yeah,
the fact that you've got it is going to always put you, with some respect. It's going to give you some kudos.
exactly. Because then
Well, I wish you well with all of that.
thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll keep you updated. I'm just about to start level 6, so my core module is professional development, and then I'm doing neuroscience. And I've got to say, I do get quite excited about neuroscience. I don't think I like writing about it because it's very scientific and technical. But yeah, I like learning about different parts of the brain and what they control in the body. So yeah,
Also seeing a hypnotherapist at the moment, a clinical hypnotherapist, not a dream catcher. And she explains a lot about the brain, the primitive brain, the intellectual brain, the amygdala, the hippocampus, all this stuff. And it's so interesting. It all makes sense to me. It's really in my world. I love all that. So it's great. But afterwards I will speak to you as well to maybe help you with your fibro and stuff.
thank you. I appreciate that. But so how have you found? Have you had any problems with relationships before and after you've been diagnosed with ADHD?
Well, only really noticed with my current wife, which is why she told me to go. I feel like my ADHD kind of was getting worse as I was getting older. So I'm not sure previous girlfriends and stuff. I don't know. I literally don't know. But she was sort of like saying, you're becoming quite difficult to be around because, or sometimes she said, we'd be talking to you and you're not even hearing us. Like you're literally. But then she did say that, a lot of that might have been that I was a bit burnt out because I created this massive thing and I've not had a day off in 10 years, not even Christmas Day.
Wow.
So she said, like, I feel like you need to go and get a diagnosis, but I also feel like you're burnt out. So she actually sent me away on holiday for a week on my own. Do you believe? Yeah. So that was, if you asked her now, she'd probably say it can be tough at times, but she's so great for me because she's very understanding, very supportive, and also loves me. So I'm quite lucky that I have someone like that wants to work with me to help rather than you're an arsehole, get lost type thing.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And my partner is the same with me. He's definitely autistic. I don't know if he'd ever get a diagnosis, but he's highly autistic. So I always say to people when they ask me about, not that many people ask me about your relation, how's your relationship these days? I always say he's the calm and I'm the storm. So I'm the crazy, chaotic, like ADHD woman, and he's like the structured kind of in our schedules and plans into place, and it just works. But he's also really kind of supportive as well, and he wants to learn, but he's probably learned more about ADHD than most partners do, but he genuinely just wants to support me in whatever way that is. And yeah, I think there are times that he struggles, but that doesn't mean to say that that's like a negative. It's just, similar to you, like when he's talking to me and I'm not listening, I can hear him talking, but I have no clue what he said, if that makes sense. And now he notices that. And I'm just honest with him, and I just say to him, I'm really sorry, but I just completely did not hear. I heard what you said, but I couldn't So then he repeats
Yeah.
it. It's having that kind of patience with me, I think, and that still supporting me, even though it's, you know, and I don't think it's bad to live with someone with ADHD at all, but there are things that, like, for instance, simple little things, like I'll go into a room and I'll open drawers and cupboards and leave them open. And he can always tell her where I've been and what I've done during the day, because he goes around shutting all the cupboards for me and, you know, the drawers and stuff. It's just little things like that. And I know sometimes, you know, nobody is a patient like 100% of the time. And I often do we talk a lot, and yeah, he's so supportive. Like I'd be lost without him, basically. So yeah, it's really nice when you find someone that genuinely cares and wants to kind of help you.
Well, yeah, I think wifey, I sound like she's just sort of like complained about me. She also says she thinks I'm amazing. Like, you know, the things I've created. She's like, unbelievable what you've done, you know. So yeah, she's not putting me down. She's just sort of like, you know, identifying certain times when I'm hard to work.
Well,
But no, it's all good. I've learned to almost sort of like wear it as a badge of honor, really, you know.
Is there anything that you would like people to know that are waiting to be diagnosed, that are newly diagnosed and just feel a little bit lost? Or is there anything kind of motivational that you'd like for other people to know, the listeners?
Well, I think that, you know, every single thing in life, there's two ways of looking at it, right? So if you want to look at an ADHD diagnosis as there's something wrong with me, I'm never going to be able to do this, I'm always going to be scatty, then that is never going to serve you, right? And it's just going to be negative. So you've got to raise yourself so high that no negativity can reach you. And the way you do that is, one, embrace the diagnosis. Like I said, wear it like a badge of honor.
Yep.
And realize that you have a superpower that you can nurture. And if you look at, I mean, there's statistics out there, and please don't ask me to bring them up, who they were or where they were from, but they are real ones, not TikTok. That if you have ADHD, there's a statistic that you are like in the top so-and-so of successful people in the world. So if you're going to be really successful, you're going to have ADHD. Like it's almost like 100% of people that are going to be successful will have ADHD, and that can be successful in all sorts of fields and genres and whatever it is. So I would certainly take it as a positive, not a negative.
Yeah.
But I would also, and I say this to everybody, and this is for your ADHD, or even if you haven't got ADHD, this is for you as well. Yeah. Everything that you've ever been, everything that you currently are, and everything that you are to become is reliant on your health. It has to be your number one priority, because if you do not have that, you do not have anything.
I love that.
And if you eat properly as well and move around a little bit, you'll see your ADHD symptoms be much clearer, less debilitating. And I would, because of my experience, so this is biased, I would be very reluctant to be taking medication when you can make a massive difference without it by sorting out your diet, and also feed your brain with good stuff. If you're constantly on the news and on X and on Facebook and on Instagram and reading the newspapers, it's just misery. It's non-stop misery. Now, our brains will hook onto it and constantly play it over. And then you create this anxious, miserable life. So I'd say, listen to a good personal development audiobook. When you're exercising, put something like that on. Going for a walk, your figure of 8, put something in your ears that's going to feed a positive brain. And as you're learning with the psychology and the primitive brain and the intellectual brain, the primitive brain is always going to be negative. It's there to keep us alive. It's there with anxiety, fear, depression is going to be, it's always negative. You can't change it. So your primitive brain is always negative. You can't reason with it. So the best thing is to accept it and then bring in your intellectual brain and then go, okay, so you're making me feel anxious because you're going to tell me that I'm not going to get my new job or whatever else, and that's worrying me. Well, have I been told I haven't got the job yet? No. Okay, well then can you stand down? Stop giving me the fear, because I'm going to get that job. No, sorry, I have that job already. You try and be really positive.
Yeah.
And so yeah, just start listening and changing the way you speak is really powerful as well. And be careful of double negatives. So the brain will not understand a double negative. So for example, if you're going to say, I'm not going to get cancer, you're focusing on cancer. It's a negative.
Yeah.
I'm going to be healthy, or I'm healthy. Saying you're going to be is also negative. It means you're not.
Okay.
Right? So another example, Mother Teresa would never go on an anti-war march. She'd only ever go on a peace march. Now, on the surface, they look similar, but they're not. One focuses on war, one focuses on peace. So you've got to be careful to not do the double negative in thinking you're being positive, because the brain won't get that. It will just hear the negative. Long conversation. We sit down with people and explain, but you'll be doing all this on your course anyway, probably.
Exactly. The brain actually rewires itself. If you only focus on negativity all the time, the neural pathways in your brain actually change, and all you will do is just see the negative. You will never see anything positive, which is why I like to do the podcast is like a strength-based approach, but a more positive, like past awareness, past whatever deficit or whatever social model. I all of that is, I just want kind of, not forget, not talk about the challenges, but more so kind of focus on what positives and what strengths we've all got that we can use to kind of achieve in our lives.
One last thing, because I know we've got to go. Have you ever heard of the Reticular Activating System?
I haven't, no.
Okay. So in our brain, sorry, this is more psychology and stuff, but it is ADHD relevant as well, and everything.
No, it's fine.
So every day we get billions of pieces of information come through our senses, our touch, our smell, our taste, our hearing, and our sight. But our brains couldn't possibly absorb even a fraction of it because it's too much. So we have a filter in our brains, which they call the Reticular Activating System. And what it does, it filters out all the things that you're not interested in, not focused on, not talking about, and not excited about, and not giving your energy to.
Yeah.
And I'll prove it. Some people call this the red car theory, but have you ever bought a car and then all of a sudden, everywhere you go, the same car is driving past you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, they called it the law of attraction, but those cars were always there. The only reason you didn't see them was because you weren't interested in them. So the reticular activating system filtered them out. Now you've bought it and you're interested, you got your new car. All of a sudden you see, let's say it was a blue Mini, you see Minis everywhere. It's like it's the only car on the planet. Yeah. And that's which everyone's been through that pretty much. So anyone listening will go, as it goes, yeah, that's right. So on that basis, if you keep focusing on what you don't want, you will be presented with what you don't want, because the brain doesn't know whether it's a don't want or a do want. So if you therefore flip that script, focus on what you do want, then the opportunities that you're looking for will be in front of your face.
Yeah. And that makes perfect sense. It's just nurturing, the positive and looking at. It's a work in progress sometimes for me, because I do get lost in the negative kind of inner critic, but I'm starting to recognise more positivity now. So it is, sometimes I feel like I take 2 steps back and then 10 steps forwards and then 20 steps back, and however, but it's just, I suppose, trying to just turn up for myself every day and trying to learn how to be gentler and kinder to myself is what I really try and do, but it doesn't always work every day. But yeah, I try and find.
It's very important. it's very important not to trip over the things that are behind you, because you're not supposed to be going that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, my lovely.
That's amazing. Thank you, Scott. Like, thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. It's been a pleasure. Your website and your social media platforms. I'll put all the links in the description of this episode. I'll send you the link to it. All my only ask is that you share it with the network that you've built and
I will.
to learn from it. Then, and if you know anyone else
I'll,
to come and be a guest, I'm happily to kind of talk to people, as many people as possible.
Okay.
I don't care. And if you know anyone that could do with a little bit of motivational speaking from me, yeah, I'd appreciate it. And
maybe I'll bring you onto one of my Zooms one day. With,
that would be amazing. Yeah.
I might set up something like that with an ADHD Zoom or something. But yeah, so it's the sixpackrevolution.com or at the sixpackrevolution. Don't forget the. And I am at I am Scott Harrison. At I am Scott Harrison. And it was lovely to meet you. Thank you for having me.
And you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Yeah,
the future.
So, and to our listeners, yeah, if you want to learn any more about health and nutrition, then Scott's your man. So, follow. When I post the links, then please do go over. And I've learned loads from you today, Scott. So I really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy.
You're very welcome.
So yeah, I really appreciate your time. And to the listeners, please follow, share whatever you want with this podcast, and see if I can get the messages reached as far wide as possible. So yeah, thanks for listening for today.